Hello, Shalom. Welcome to day 43 of the Daily Bread. We'll be reading Exodus out of Exodus 4, 1 Samuel 4, Psalms 50, Proverbs 12, and Mark 12. We'll be reading out of Scriptures, 2009 version. And, Exodus chapter 4, page 59. And Mosheh answered and said, And if they do not believe me, nor listen to my voice, and say, Yahweh has not appeared to you, and Yahweh said to him, What is that in your hand? And he said, A rod. And he said, Throw it on the ground. So he threw it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Mosheh fled from it. And Yahweh said to Mosheh, Reach out your hand. Reach out your hand and seize it by its tail. So he reached out and took hold of it. And it became a rod in his hand. So that they believed that Yahweh, Elohim of their fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, the Elohim of Jacob, has appeared to you. And Yahweh said to him again, Now put your hand in your bosom. And he put his hand in his bosom, and when he took it out, see, his hand was leprous like snow. And he, Yahweh, said, Put your hand in your bosom again. So he put his hand in his bosom again and drew it out of his bosom, and see, it was restored like other flesh. Like its other flesh. And it shall be, if they do not believe you, nor listen to the voice of the first sign, they shall believe the voice of the latter sign. And it shall be, if they do not believe even these two signs, or listen to your voice, that you shall take water from the river, and pour it on the dry land. And the water which you take from the river shall become blood on the dry land. And Moshe said to Yahweh, O Yahweh, I am not the man of words. I'm not a man of words. Neither before nor since you have spoken to your servant. For I am slow of speech and slow of tongue. And Yahweh said to him, Who has made man's mouth? Or who makes dumb, or deaf, or seeing, or blind? Is it not I, Yahweh? And now go, and I shall be with your mouth, and teach you to say. But he said, Mosheh, O Yahweh, please send by the hand of him whom you would send. And the displeasure of Yahweh burned against Mosheh. And he said, Is not Aaron the Levite your brother? I know that he speaks well, and see, he is also coming out to meet you. And when he sees you, he shall be glad in his heart. And you shall speak to him and put the words in his mouth. And I am with your mouth and with his mouth, and I shall teach you what to say, what to do. And he shall speak for you to the people, and it shall be that he shall be a mouth for you. And you shall be an Elohim, an Elox, meaning eloquency, for him, a leader. And take this rod in your hand, with which you shall do the signs. Then Moshe went and returned to Jethro, his father-in-law, and said to him, Please let me go and return to my brothers, who are in Mitzrayim, to see whether they are still alive. And Jethro said to Moshe, Go in peace. And Yahweh said to Moshe and Midian, Go, return to Mitzrayim, for all the men are dead who sought your life. So Moshe took his wife and his sons and sent them on a donkey, and he returned to the land of Mitzrayim. And Moshe took the rod of Elohim in his hands. And Yahweh said to Moshe, As you go back to Mitzrayim, see that you do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in your hand. But I am going to strengthen his heart, so he does not let the people go. And you shall say to Pharaoh, Thus said Yahweh, Israel my son, my firstborn. So I say to you, Let my son go to serve me. But if you refuse to let him go, see, I am killing your firstborn. And it came to be on the way in the lodging place that Yahweh met him and sought to kill him. And Sephora, Moshe's wife, took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and threw it at his feet, and said, You are indeed a bridegroom of blood to me. And he let them go. Then she said, You are a bridegroom of blood because of the circumcision. And Yahweh said to Aaron, Go to meet Moshe in the wilderness. And he went and met him on the mountain of Elohim and kissed him. And Moshe then told Aaron all the words of Yahweh who had sent him, and all the signs which he had commanded him. And Moshe went with Aaron, and they gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. And Aaron spoke all the words which Yahweh had spoken. Then he did the signs before the eyes of the people, and the people believed. And they heard that Yahweh had visited the children of Israel, and he had looked on their affliction, and they bowed their heads and did obedience. Moving over to 1 Samuel chapter 4, found on page 283. Thus the word of Samuel was to all Israel. And Israel went out to battle against the Philistines, and encamped against Ben-Hezbollah, while the Philistines encamped in Aphek. And the Philistines put themselves in battle array against Israel. And when the battle spread, Israel was stricken by the Philistines, who killed about 4,000 men of the army in the field. And when the people came into camp, the elders of Israel said, Why has Yahweh smitten us today before the Philistines? Let us bring the ark of the covenant of Yahweh from Shiloh to us, so that he comes in our midst and save us from the hand of our enemies. And the people of Shiloh, and they brought the people sent to Shiloh, and they brought from there the ark of the covenant of Yahweh of hosts, dwelling between the cherubim. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were there with the ark of the covenant. And when the ark of the covenant of Yahweh came into the camp, of all Israel shouted so loudly that the earth shook. And when the Philistines heard the noise of the shout, they said, What is the noise of this great shout in the camp of the Hebrews? And when they knew that the ark of Yahweh had come into camp, the Philistines were afraid, For they said, Elohim has come into their camp. And they said, Woe to us, for it has never been like this before. Woe to us, who shall deliver us from the hand of the mighty Elohim? These are the Elohim who struck the Mizraimites with all the plagues in the wilderness. Be strong and be men, you Philistines, that you do not become servants of the Hebrews, as they have been to you. Be men and fight. And the Philistines fought, and Israel was smitten, and every man fled to his tent. And the slaughter was very great. And there fell of Israel 30,000 foot soldiers. And the Ark of the Covenant was captured. And the two sons of Eli died, Hophni and Phinehas. And the man of Benjamin ran from the battle line. And a man from Benjamin ran from the battle line the same day, and came to Shiloh with his garment torn and dirt on his head. And he came in and saw Eli sitting on the seat by the wayside, watching, for his heart trembling for the ark of Elohim. And the man came into the city and reported it. All the city cried out. And Eli heard the noise of the outcry and said, What is the noise of this uproar? And the man came hastily and informed Eli. Now Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were so dim that he was unable to see. And the man said to Eli, I am he who came from the battle, and I fled today from the battle line. And he said, What was the matter, my son? And the messenger answered and said, Israel has fled before the Philistines, and there has been a great slaughter among the people. And your two sons have died, Hophni and Phinehas, and the ark of Elohim has been captured. And it came to be, when he made the mention of the ark of Elohim, that Eli fell off the seat backwards by the side of the gate, and his neck was broken, and he died. For the man was old and heavy, and he ruled Israel 40 years. And his daughter-in-law, Phinehas' wife, was pregnant about to bear. And when she heard the news of the ark of Elohim was captured, and that her father-in-law and her husband were dead, she bowed herself and gave birth, because her pains came upon her. And about the time of her death, the woman who stood by her said to her, Do not fear, for you have borne a son. But she did not answer, nor did she set her heart to it. And she called the child Ichabod, saying, The esteem has departed from Israel, because the ark of Elohim was taken, and because of her father-in-law and her husband. And she said, The esteem, the glory, has departed from Israel, for the ark of Elohim was taken. Psalms 50, page 674. El Elohim, Yahweh shall speak, and he shall call the earth. From the rising of the sun to its going down, from Zion the perfection of the loveliness. Elohim shall shine forth. Our Elohim comes, and is not silent. A fire consumes before him, and it shall be very stormy all around him. He calls to the heavens from above, and to the earth, to rightly rule his people. Gather my lovely committed ones together to me, those who have made a covenant with me by slaughtering. Then the heavens declared his righteousness, for Elohim himself is judge. Salah. Hear, O my people, and I speak. O Israel, I witness against you. I am Elohim, your Elohim. I do not reprove you for your slaughterings, and your ascending offerings are continually before me. I do not take a bull from your house, nor goats out of your pens, for every beast in the forest is mine. The cattle on 1,000 hills, I know all the birds of the mountains. All moving in my field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not speak to you, for the world is mine, and all that fills it. I do not eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats. Slaughter thanksgiving to Elohim, and pay your vows to the Most High, and call upon me in the day of distress. Let me rescue you, and you esteem me. But to the wrong, Elohim says, what have you to recite my laws, or take my covenant in your mouth, while you hated instruction and cast my words behind you? When you saw a thief, you were pleased with him, and you take part with adulterers. You let your mouth loose to evil, and your tongue frames deceit. You speak against your brother. You slander your own mother's son. You have done this, and I kept silent. You have thought that I was altogether like you. I rebuked you and set it in order before your eyes. Understand this: who are forgotten, Elah, lest I tear you in pieces, with no one to deliver. Whoever slaughters praise esteems me, and to him who prepares the way, I show the deliverance of Elohim. Proverbs 12 on page 739. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid. The good obtains favor from Yahweh, but the man of wicked devices he declares wrong. A man is not established by wrongness, but the root of the righteous shall not be moved. A capable wife is the crown of her husband, but one causing shame is like rottenness in his bones. The thoughts of the righteous are right ruling. The counsels of the wrong are deceit. The words of the wrong are lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the straight delivers them. The wrong are overthrown and are no more, but the house of the righteous stands. A man is praised according to his wisdom, but the perverted of heart becomes despised. Better to be lightly esteemed and have a servant than a highly esteemed who lacks bread. The righteous regards the life of his beast, but the compassion of the wrong is cruelty. He who tills his land is satisfied with bread, but he who pursues vanity is lacking heart. The wrong shall covet the catch of the evildoers, but the root of the righteous yields fruit. In the transgression of the lips is an abomination, is an evil snare. Let me start that over again. Verse 13. In the transgression of the lips is an evil snare, but the righteous gets out of distress. From the fruit of his mouth one is filled with good, and the work of man's hands is given back to him. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he who listens to advice is wise. A fool's wrath is known at once, but a clever one covers shame. He who speaks truth declares righteousness, but a false witness deceit. Rash speaking is like piercing of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is healing. The lips of truth is established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Deceit is in the heart of those who plot evil, but counselors of peace have joy. No harm befalls the righteous, but the wrong shall be filled with evil. Lying lips are an abomination to Yahweh, but those who deal truly are his delight. A clever man is concealing knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaims folly. The hand of the hard worker rules, but the lazy one is put to compulsory labor. Anxiety in the heart of man causes depression, but a good word makes him glad. The righteous is a guide to his neighbor, but the way of the wrong leads him astray. The lazy one has no game to roast, but the hard worker prizes his possessions. In the way of righteousness of life is life, and in its path there is no death. In the Proverbs 12, on the Mark 12, on page 972. And he, Yeshua, began to speak to them in parables. A man planted a vineyard and put a hedge around it, and dug a vat for the winepress, and built a watchtower. Psalms 80, verse 8, and Joshua 5, 1 and 2. And let out the farmers, and went away. And at harvest time he sent a servant to the farmers to receive some of the fruit of the vineyard from the farmers. And they seized him and beat him and sent him away empty-handed. And again he sent them another servant, and throwing stones at him, they wounded him in the head and sent him away, having insulted him. And again he sent another, and they killed him, and many others, beating some and killing some. And he had one more son, his beloved. He sent him last of all, saying, They shall respect my son. But those farmers said among themselves, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and the inheritance shall be ours. So they took him and killed him, and threw him out of the vineyard. What then shall the owner of the vineyard do? He shall come and destroy the farmers, and give the vineyard to others. Have you not read this scripture? The stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. Psalms 118, verse 22. This was from Yahweh, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Psalms 118:23. And they were seeking to seize him, the Pharisees, but feared the crowd, for they knew he had spoken the parable against them. And leaving him, they went away. And they sent to him some of the Pharisees and Aharonites to catch him in a word. And when they came, they said to him, Teacher, we know that you are true, and it does not concern you about anyone, for you are not partial to any, but teach the way of Elohim in truth. Is it right to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Should we pay or should we not pay? And he, knowing their hypocrisy, said to them, Why do you try me? Bring me a denarius to look at. It's a Roman coin. And they brought it, and he said to them, Whose likeness and inscription is this? And they said to him, Caesar's. So Yahweh said to them, Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to Elohim what is Elohim's. And they marveled him. And the Sadducees, who say there is no resurrection, came to him, and they asked him, saying, Teacher, Mosheh wrote to us that if a brother or of anyone dies and leaves his wife behind and leaves no children, his brother should take his wife and raise up offspring for his brother. Deuteronomy 25, 5 and 6. There are 7 brothers, and the first took a wife and died, leaving no offspring. And the second took her, and he died, leaving behind no offspring. And the third likewise, and the seventh left no offspring. Last of all, the women died too. In the resurrection, then, when they rise, whose wife shall she be? For 7 had her as a wife. And Yeshua answering said to them, Is this not why you go astray, because you do not know the scriptures, nor the power of Elohim? For when they rise from the dead, they neither marry nor are given in the marriage, but are as messengers of the heavens. And concerning the dead, that they rise, have you not read the book of Mosheh at the bush, when Elohim spoke to him, saying, I am the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob? Exodus 3, verse 6. He is not the Elohim of the dead, but Elohim of the living. You then go greatly astray. And one of the scribes coming near, hearing them reasoning together, knowing that he had answered them well, asked him, Which is the first command of all? And Yeshua answered them, The first of all the commands is, Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our Elohim, Yahweh is one. Deuteronomy 6:4. And you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. Deuteronomy 6:5. This is the first command. And the second like it is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Leviticus 19:18. There is no other greater command than these. And the scribe said to him, Well said, teacher, you have spoken the truth. For there is one Elohim, and there is no one besides him. Deuteronomy 4:3. And to love him with all the heart, and with all the understanding, and with all the being, and with all the strength. Deuteronomy 6:5. And to love one's neighbor as oneself is more than all the ascending offering more than all the ascending offerings and offerings. And Yeshua saw that he answered wisely. He said to them, You are not far from the reign of Elohim. And after that, no one was bold enough to question him. And Yeshua responding said, While teaching in the set-apart place, how is it that the scribes say that the Messiah is the son of David? David himself said by the set-apart Spirit, Yahweh said to my master, Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool of your feet. Psalms 110, verse 1. David himself calls him master in that way that he is his son. And the large crowd heard him greatly. And in his teaching he was saying to them, Beware of the scribes, who like to walk around in long robes, and like greetings in the marketplaces, and the best seats in the congregations, and the best places at feasts, who are devouring widows' houses, and for a show to make long prayers. These shall receive greater judgment. And sitting opposite the treasury, he saw how the people put copper into the treasury, and many rich ones put in much. But a poor widow came and threw in 2 leptons, which amount to a quadrans. and called near his taught ones. He said to them, Truly I say to you that this poor widow has put in more than all those putting into the treasury. For they put in out of their excess, but she, out of her poverty, put in all that she had, her entire livelihood. It's the end of Mark 12. Thank you. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible and talk to the Father.